All right, y'all, so this is on today's menu. We got 1 pound chopped Angus ground beef, delicious from Good Ranchers. I'm gonna add to that about a ½ pound of bacon. I'm gonna add to that about 10 ounces of reduced browned in butter, and then some caramelized onions. I've already added about 7 to 10 drops of hickory smoke. I'm gonna add to that some fresh homemade breadcrumbs I got from a French baguette that I accidentally let go stale. You toast it, you grind it, yada yada. I'm gonna add some of that Lily's smoky barbecue sauce, the Memphis style. It's the best, to be honest with you. And we're gonna do some mashed potatoes and sauteed broccoli with garlic, and I'll show you some more once we're getting assembled. All right, part 2, you're gonna cut up all that about ½ pound of bacon, like I said, into real small chunks. You're gonna reduce it on pretty low, not super low, but you want all the fat out of this. Then we're gonna grind the bacon into a near dry dust, along with this, what would be called the duxelle if we were putting in another stuff, but mushrooms, onion, that have been caramelized. We're going to turn it into a paste. All right, y'all. This is about the color you're going to want to get your stuff to. You certainly are going to want to drain it on some paper towel and a paper plate. I decided not to utilize the bacon grease because the beef doesn't have a percentage marker on it. Normally I use 93% lean so I can add in the bacon grease, but this time I'm going to leave the breadcrumbs dry, that way they can absorb the beef grease. Now this is just an extra step. I already sauteed these individually, but I want to get that bacon fond off the bottom, and I want to cook out as much water. That way when I blend this into a duxelle, it'll be as dry as possible. Again, that's going to be to absorb this grease right here. Like I said, normally I get really lean beef. That way I'm adding in the bacon fat flavor. But I'll show you guys all this in a powdered form once the bacon is degreased and my fond off the bottom of that pan is nicely absorbed, and I've cooked a little bit more of the water out of there. All right, next step, ½ pound dusted bacon, 1 cup of breadcrumbs mix. All right, y'all, you're gonna take your 1 pound of beef, you're gonna take your ½ pound of bacon and 1 cup of breadcrumbs, fresh or otherwise, powdered up, nice and married. And this is your duxelle with 2 eggs involved. You're gonna mix it up, you're gonna put it in here, but you're not gonna bake it in here. You're gonna bake it on a pan. You're gonna make sure it's all nice and formed into this square. You put it on the pan, that way the fat flows out and it just doesn't sit in its own fat. I'll show you what that looks like in a few. All right, y'all, this is what it should look like once you've transferred it out of the mold, or a 5x8 or whatever size pan you happen to be using. You can scale the recipe up as you like. I like using the pan because you end up with a really uniform size. You're gonna bake this till it's about halfway done on 350. You can see my oven's preheating right now for about 45 minutes. About 35 minutes of the way through, you're gonna add in your barbecue sauce or whatever you happen to be using for your specific seasoning blend. I'm doing barbecue, bacon, and mushroom with a little onion because onion add moisture to your meatloaf. All right, y'all, last tip before. These are frozen broccoli florets. With about 3.5, 4 tablespoons of butter, garlic powder, salt. I used kosher because it's got bigger flakes so you can see it, see how much sauce you added. Pepper. Put it on low, That's the far back one over here. Is this, and this one's broccoli. All right, put it on low. Let that thaw for a little bit. Let the salt get in there, the garlic powder get in there, and then you're gonna cook it and saute that mother heifer. Make sure you peel and then slice and cube your potatoes fairly small. It helps them cook quicker. Salt your water, otherwise the potatoes gonna be nasty. And then last tip, heavy cream instead of milk, because that's why your potatoes be disgusting, to be honest with you. All right, broccoli, nice and seasoned and soft. Meatloaf, nice and juicy. Kept all of its fats, most of its fats, some of it ran off. And then mashed potatoes, proper.